And now these MAGA voices who know the truth about Trump on January 6th have abandoned the truth and abandoned the democracy. They made their choice. Now the rest of us, Democrats, independents, mainstream Republicans, we have to make our choice.
The January 6th insurrection laid bare to the nation and to the world some of the most depraved behaviors human beings are capable of: violence, hatred, rage, vengeance. But we also saw acts of bravery. We saw acts of selflessness. We saw acts of humility. Among the images that left their mark, photographs of New Jersey's Democratic Congressman Andy Kim cleaning up the trash. An NBC News report published 2 days after the insurrection began this way. Congressman Andy Kim was in his office in a separate federal building when President Donald Trump's supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday afternoon. So he didn't actually see the damage live until nearly midnight, after the House had voted down the last challenge to the presidential election result. When he finally did walk around the rotunda, his favorite and arguably the most storied room of the building, the disarray left him speechless. Joining us now is Congressman Andy Kim. He is a candidate for the United States Senate, running in the Democratic primary against indicted incumbent Senator Robert Menendez. Senator Kim, thank you very much for coming to this show tonight. 3 years after January 6th, how are you reflecting on that dark day in our history?
Thank you, Jonathan. I mean, it's something that I think about a lot. Every single day that I'm at the Capitol, I think about what happened to that building that day. As mentioned, I believe it to be the most beautiful building in our nation. And I think of the Capitol as the physical manifestation of Article 1 of the Constitution. So to defile and to disgrace that building is to defile and disgrace our Constitution. One thing that I came away from that day is I really felt like I learned what it meant to be a caretaker of our democracy, and as a result, a caretaker for our Capitol. So I very much continue that every single day in this job right now, that right now we need caretakers for our democracy, people who are willing to step up and protect it at this moment of sheer fragility that we face right now.
Mm-hmm. You know, Congressman, we heard the president mention this today, but what do you make of Republicans who condemned Trump in the days after the insurrection, but are embracing him today?
Well, look, they're cowards, and I've worked with a lot of them alongside them for 5 years now. I just celebrated my 5th year in Congress, and I see a lot of people who are just constantly willing to put their own personal benefits ahead of what's right for the country. People who I've talked to who know better. And, that is what I think is putting ourselves in such a dire situation. We live in the time of the greatest amount of distrust in government in modern American history. And that's because people look at our elected officials. They look at what we see in Congress, just the vitriol. I mean, I'm there, people yelling and screaming at each other. And I try to tell them, look, we work jobs whose job descriptions are in the Constitution of the United States. And that should hold us to the highest of standards. But instead, Americans are constantly seeing many times the worst of us amongst them. So we have to restore that sense of public service, that sense of integrity. And I was there at the speech with the president today, listening to him, and I thought he laid out that incredibly important case right now, that this is about who we are. This is about who we are as Americans that are on the ballot this November.
Mm-hmm. Congressman, in your primary race, you're facing Senator Robert Menendez. He's facing more allegations of bribery, now allegedly involving the Qatari government. He's denied any wrongdoing, but what do you make of these latest claims?
Well, look, here in New Jersey, this is something that we've obviously been very concerned about. And this is not his first time around when it comes to an indictment. And just in general here in New Jersey, I mean, 84% of people in New Jersey believe that their politicians are corrupt. That is not something that we can sustain to be able to have a functioning democracy. As I said earlier, Jonathan, we live in the time of the greatest amount of distrust in government in modern American history. And if we're going to go forward and tell the American people, vote for us, vote for the Democratic Party, vote for these candidates because they're going to step up and protect democracy, the Democratic Party has to show that we're willing to step up and hold people accountable, to be true to our values, no matter who they are, no matter what party they are. If there's a problem, there's corruption, if there's challenges to integrity, Whether they are a Democrat or Republican, we have to stand up and show that we have that consistency. And that's a big reason I decided to step up to run. And if people want to learn more about it, I hope they go to andykim.com.
All right, Congressman Andy Kim, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Great. Thank you for having me.